This video tutorial is brought to you by TipSquirrel at www.tipsquirrel.com. For all the best Photoshop and Lightroom tips, follow at TipSquirrel on Twitter or go to facebook.com/tipsquirrel. Hi everybody, Mike Hoffman here, and today we're going to be making a whimsical photo collage from a single image here in Photoshop. Now I'm using Photoshop CC for this example, but you could do this in most any version of Photoshop, most any recent version. So what I've got here is a single image on a layer by itself, and I've got a white layer underneath it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the rectangular marquee tool, and I'm simply going to drag out a rectangle about the aspect ratio of a photo snapshot. Now with this photo layer selected, I'm simply going to press Control J on Windows, and that's Command J on a Mac. And what I've done is I've copied that section of the photograph to its own layer. Now I want to re-enable that selection, and the easiest way to do it is by control clicking, or if you're on a Mac, command clicking on the layer thumbnail, and that reactivates the selection. And now let's go ahead and reselect this bottom layer. We'll turn it on so that we can see it, and now I want to move this selection. And the way I'm going to do that is by choosing Select and then Transform Selection. I get the transform handles, and I'm going to turn this on an angle, and I'm going to move it over a bit. And that looks pretty good right there. So I'll click the check mark to accept that. And now with this photographic layer selected, I'm going to once again press Control J. And that creates a second copy. Now if I turn this off, you can see that I've got one image over here and one image over here, and they're stacked one on the other. Now I'm going to continue this process. I'm going to Control click on the most recent one, and then I'm going to use Select and again Transform Selection, and I'm going to move this selection around and maybe put it down here a bit. And I'm doing this with the white background so I can keep track of where I am. But now once I've got this area selected, I'm going to re-enable the photographic layer, and with that layer selected, I'm going to once again press Control J or Command J on a Mac. Turn that layer off again, and now you can see I've got 3 images stacked up here. Now we want to continue this process until we've covered a reasonable part of the image. And like all good cooking shows, I've already got a bunch of layers created and they're waiting for us in the oven. So I'm going to turn these off, and I'm going to enable this stack of layers that I've created right here. And if I open this group, you can see I've got quite a few of them there that I've created. And they cover a good deal of the image. And I've left some empty margin all the way around for visual effect. Now at this point, it doesn't look too dramatic, but what we're going to do is we're going to select one of these layers, and we're going to add some layer styles. So I'm going to drop down here to this FX icon and click on this, and I'm going to bring up the layer style dialog box, and I'm going to add a drop shadow, and you can see it appearing right here. In fact, we can drag on the image and position that drop shadow as we wish, and right there looks pretty good. Now I'm also going to add a stroke to this layer, and I'm going to change the stroke color to white. I'm going to set that stroke position to the inside, and I'm going to dial up the thickness just a little bit to make it look somewhat like a photographic snapshot. That looks pretty good. So we'll click on OK, and now that we've got this one layer configured, we can copy this layer style to all the other layers. So I'm going to drag the layers panel out here so you can see it, and I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to choose Copy Layer Style. Now I'm going to click on one of the remaining layers and then shift click at the end of the list to select them all at once. With them all selected, I'm going to right click once again, and I'm going to choose Paste Layer Style. And now there we have it. All the layers have the same photographic look to them, and it looks at once like a collage. So there we have our effect. And at this point, we can put the finishing touches on there. We can add some text, we can change the background, and in my case, what I've done is I've gone ahead and set some text and put a little texture on the background image to finish the effect off. So there we have it, a sort of whimsical photographic collage created from a single image here in Photoshop. My name is Mike Hoffman. My website is hoffmanartdesign.com. You'll find a variety of information there related to photography, Photoshop, and Lightroom. You can follow me on Twitter at mhoffman2001, and you can find me on Google Plus simply by going to g+mikehoffman.com. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial.